Oh, you got the controller. Okay, nice. I didn't get that. All right, welcome to episode 210 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, we have Chase.
Hello.
And we have Steven.
Hello.
Chris is on assignment living a life outside of this. So, oh, man. So this week we have basically the best and worst versions of Gotta Catch 'Em All on the two stories we're covering. All about like the Pokémon Direct and Warner Brothers or Paramount Skydance trying to collect every other media conglomerate in the world.
Warner Mount.
Yeah. Trying to warn you all off.
Para Brothers. That doesn't sound good.
No, none of it does. The whole deal sounds terrible.
Para Brothers sounds like something Nintendo would make. Okay.
We'll get into it, but yeah, some of this is sad, but also kind of funny. And Netflix got away with some shit, which is really good, funny. But before we do that, let's jump into what we've been doing. Chase, we'll start with you this week. What you been up to, man?
Okay, so I was up in Wellington last weekend, which is why I wasn't here. Shinoa's mother. It was Shinoa's mother's 70th birthday. So while I was up north, I was playing the new God of War Sons of Sparta Metroidvania game.
Ooh,
it's pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed it for what it was.
About how long did it take? Because I think you platinumed it, didn't you?
Yeah, probably about a week.
Okay, it's not bad.
But I mean, that's me just kind of playing it like a bit every day.
Right.
So while I was up in Wellington, I actually borrowed Shinoa's PlayStation Portal, and I was actually playing it via that. And it works really well. So like this is because that was my first experience ever using it. So actually, like, I was like, wow, this actually runs and does everything really well. So it was actually kind of a fun way to, it was fun to try it anyway. But
I've always found it funny because I've heard both sides of that. I've heard people like, I'm in another country and it works great. And then there's other people that are like, I'm in my living room and it won't work well from here. Like, it's just,
that's what
I was getting at, Steven.
When Shinoa or when Steven was like, yeah, it's like doesn't even work when I'm in the next room in the same house. I was like, oh, okay.
I've also been in front of the goddamn system and it won't run properly.
Okay.
Oh,
you obviously got the lemon. You said
because,
sir.
Because, right next to me, Chris was playing Claire Obscure at the time. And I was like, oh, I'll just do my ZZZ dailies while he's doing that. I was just like, why can't it run properly?
It's right there. Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, no, I enjoy Ghost of Sparta or Sons of Sparta, not Ghost of Sparta. That's a PSP game.
It was a good one, though.
It was a very good one. Was it PSP or PS Vita? I can't remember.
PSP. I don't think the Vita ever had an actual God of War game.
Was there's Ascension, Ghost of Sparta, and Chains of Olympus? Were they all on PSP?
I think they were.
No shit. Okay. Yeah, Sons of Sparta is pretty good.
Made me look now.
I can. Yeah. Well, I was just like, get those games off of the PSP. Damn it, get them on. Those need to re-release. But
yeah, there's no God of War on Vita because that's one I would have bought.
Correct. Yeah, I looked at my collection and there's nothing.
Yeah, that's such a missed opportunity. Like, Sony really let down the Vita. God of War would have fit great on there.
Vita is life
because the PSP games are really good. Actually, for what they were really good.
Yeah.
But
anyways, we're getting off track.
Yeah. So Sons of Sparta was actually like, it's quite good. I could see where people probably maybe wouldn't enjoy it as much. I guess if you're planning to play a game that's like a good Metroidvania, then you'll probably be disappointed. But if you're looking to play a God of War game that happens to be a Metroidvania, then you'll go into it with a much better appreciation of it, I think. Because
in the beginning the battle's pretty stiff because you don't know a lot of moves yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the first boss, which is not a spoiler, which was like a little centaur guy.
I think they showed that.
I didn't feel like it was like an amazing battle. I just stood in front of him and stabbed him a bunch of times and he died. And I was just like, I can't do many moves. And I was like, oh, if he turns red, I dodge. If he turns blue, I do this. It's like, okay.
Right.
I mean,
The color code attacks.
yeah, and like they really go hard on the color code attacks because there's like there's a color coding for you can't block, there's a color coding for you
Yep.
can't dodge, there's a color coding for you can't block or dodge, there's a color coding for it'll break your block, like just all sorts of stuff. I'm just like, man, like they went
That's
in
a
hard
lot.
on that.
You're
But
colorblind. Hopefully, it's
yeah,
accessible.
Yeah, I hope they have a good colorblind mode.
oh, they got accessibility stuff. I mean, I didn't really play with them, obviously, but
Yeah,
they
developers have
like
gotten better about that.
it is
Thankfully.
there. Yeah, I feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity with the combat system because, like in the God of War games, you mix like light and heavy attacks. You know, like square, triangle, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do that here. It's just you only use square to attack, and so it can feel a bit like monotonous, I guess.
Yeah, just tapping the same button over and over
Combat
again.
wise, I mean, there's other abilities that you can do, like you can, hold R1 to change your attacks to do more stun, or you could do like hold L1 and press a button to like do a special move, but that's really the only variety that you're getting other than the magic items that you'll find over time. But like overall, I enjoyed it. Mostly probably because it was a God of War game, and I do enjoy my God of War.
Yeah, it reminded me like of more like Shadow Complex, which I also really like.
Shadow Complex was really good. So that was very much an actual, I would consider that like a direct Metroidvania, like because I went into it with that expectation and I thought it paid off really well. I find it interesting though how you were saying it, Chase, of like don't treat it directly as a Metroidvania because you'll be disappointed, but go into it as a God of War that happens.
It's definitely got the isms because it makes you go back. It's like you're gonna need to learn something to come back to that and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, backtracking is definitely a thing.
Which the God of War games, the 3D ones, had that as well, where you would get a new ability and then you'd go back to open this door to do things.
Yeah.
And because I watched the IGN review, IGN gave it a 6, and he was, and like his thing was, he was like, well, when you compare it to like the Metroidvania heavyweights, it's not that great of a game. And it's like, well, yeah, but I don't think that's who this was made for.
And it sounds like that. I'd be understanding of that.
It's a fair point of what he's bringing up because he's got to compare it to other Metroidvanias, but I just don't necessarily think this is what Mega Cat was aiming for.
Dead Cells, because it's the same team. Like, does it feel like Dead Cells? Does it feel like Dead Cells with the God of War palette? Like, because that's what I went in going in, is it's going to feel like Dead Cells, and it, for all intents and purposes, it did. The only thing it did was it gave you the Metroid-esque, you have nothing, you need to learn everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, which kind of fits too, because Kratos is just a like early teen. So it's not like he's a rage monster.
He's like a full-on god. He had to learn some new moves and stuff. So I was like, this makes perfect sense. So
he's just an angsty emo teenager.
You have Teen Titan running around being like, "Where are you going, brother?" So.
Other than that, though, I've also got back into Total War Rome Remastered. Actually, I'm still enjoying it, but I like took a break from it because the campaigns can drag quite a while, and so I've just got back into it and I'm playing it some more.
So it just sounds like most of your gameplay has been like Spartans and Romans and
like, yeah, it's been a bit of a
I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a theme this week. And then I've also been playing Menace. I've been keeping up on that too. Play a few missions in that, which that's really good turn-based strategy for anybody that's interested in that genre.
Okay. All right. Steven, what about you? What you been doing?
You can believe it this time, but I only played one day of ZZZ because I've been busy with other stuff.
I was like, what was the portal not working?
I was doing Klondike Rush, which is the last mobile game that they're offering, and I don't know if I'm going to make it to the milestone they need me to get, but I'll see, because I finally figured out how to get there quicker. A little late, because I was doing the story, and people online were like, "Don't do the story, you moron, just do this." And I was like, "Oh, crap." So I'm in like a rush without paying money to try to get to the level I need to get to.
There you go.
I made sure, which I'll talk about later, why I didn't play. Well, well, I didn't get my Resident Evil, but that's a story for a little bit later. But I did get my digital download of Disney Afternoon Collection, so I immediately jumped into DuckTales, and I'm definitely rusty because I died a few times, but I beat the first level, saved the game. I like that you can do pixel perfect, or you can do, for some reason, widescreen to stretch the whole thing.
Don't. That's terrible, but
Um, but lastly, I made sure, because I knew it was coming up, I made sure to dive in headfirst into Steam Next Fest with all their demos.
Well, real quick, if you don't mind, before you get into that, I wanted to point out the Disney Afternoon Collection. Right before the show, you told me about this. When you bought it for Switch 2, they also gave you another version for Switch 1 that you can loan to people separately if you're in your family plan, which convinced me to buy it. So now I have it. I haven't played it yet. I just bought it like 15 minutes ago. And now I can loan the Switch 1 version to Jennifer so she can play it. So keep that in mind. That was a huge selling point for the digital.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me as well.
Yeah, happy surprise. But anyways, continue with your Steam Next Fest.
So I did Steam Next Fest because last time I missed out on a lot of demos, and this time, poor Steam, because day 1 and 2 of Steam Next Fest was kind of a mess because, and I will say this, Mr. CEO of Microsoft, there was tons of AI slop. Like, so much AI slop. It was hard to find games, and it was lucky I had people like Matt McMuscles and other ones that were like, hey, give us recommendations. And indie developers were actually reaching out to him in Blue Sky and saying, like, try my game. And then other people were like, I did this. And after a couple of days, the list kind of got curated. So the slop got all shoved to the bottom, and you just got the games people were playing, the demos that you wanted to try. So from either recommendations I found on Blue Sky to short TikToks of people saying, I went through hours of this and these are 3 I really liked, stuff like that. I played Rogue Mansion, which is a procedurally generated Resident Evil, which needs work. You can play as 3 characters: some detective, a policewoman, and a guy with a dog. And it's kind of simpler. I'm not going to say in graphics, but in terms of, like, I guess, movesets, it's simpler, like almost like an Alone in the Dark. The problem is everybody's attack is just the knife, and they have special abilities that you build up like a super meter. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I picked the policewoman thinking, cool, I'll get to use the gun like I would in Resident Evil.
Right.
And it's exact Resident Evil 4 type controls, except for, no, you start with a knife, and her special ability is she takes out her badge and then has a gun. And I'm like, this is so bad. So
I thought you were going to say takes out her baton, but you said badge, and I was like, wait, what?
So she activates her badge power, which gives her a gun for a limited time. So I was like, okay, this needs some tweaking. If they ask for feedback, I'll give it to them.
Okay.
Next, I played Densha Attack, which is Train Crazy Taxi. It is amazing.
I remember hearing about this.
You are going to use almost every button on your controller. But it is very hectic. It is fun. At one point, I was riding my train on a roller coaster, hitting satellite dishes. Not roller coaster, sorry, a Ferris wheel. And the Ferris wheel broke, and I was going through the island hitting satellite dishes while I was riding my train on a wheel. And I was like, okay, this is great.
That sounds absolutely insane.
Scott Pilgrim EX, which is absolutely nothing like the original. In fact, I don't know if I can even go back to playing the original anymore.
Oh, wow.
This one is like a fully realized River City Ransom, and the amount of stores you can go to, the amount of moves you have, the amount of locations. There's a giant map that you can just go back and forth with. Brilliant animation as usual from Robertson and such. And I was just like, okay, I'm glad this is coming out on Switch and such, because I'm going to be getting this. Maybe not day 1, but I'll get it when I can see it on Video Games Plus. Then I tried Super Alloy Crush, which I thought was going to be kind of almost like a Mega Man type game, but it's just done in a fashion where you just keep going into a room and, like, kill 50 guys, go into another room, kill 50 guys. So I was like, so it's not level based as I thought. The other ones that I'm need to play before Next Fest ends on Monday afternoon is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando is a demo that's on there.
Yeah, let me know when you want to play that.
Okay.
I'll
give that a shot too.
There's Beastbreaker, which is kind of like Boss Rush with pinball.
There's Why have you not messaged me about this yet? It's pinball,
I haven't tried it yet. I don't want to give you a stinker. I haven't tried it yet.
I'll give it I think out of all of us, if it's a pinball game, I should try this shit. Let me literally be the judge of that.
Wild Blue Skies, which is a blatant but looks pretty good ripoff of Star Fox.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff from that. I was intrigued.
Replaced that looks absolutely gorgeous. So I really need to try that before it goes away because it's kind of like Blade Runner meets Flashback meets Out of This World type of pixel art and such.
Oh wow!
Then there's Eternal Life of Goldman, which is just a platformer, but it's in a unique style.
Mm-hmm.
Vampire Crawlers, which is Vampire Survivors, their next iteration. I think Chris has been playing that, and he says that he's actually having fun with a card RPG, and I was like, oh, you didn't like those games. And then People of Note, which is basically if your RPG was a musical.
Mm-hmm.
So like you have your normal battle scenes, you have your boss fights and stuff, but sometimes when they want to like really emote, they'll just sing a song. So think of it that way. And I was just like, it looks promising.
Okay.
And then lastly, because they did take a lot of criticism to heart, was the Panzer Dragoon's Way 2 demo, where Forever Entertainment said, hey, we're updating this on the fly, and we're taking people's criticisms to make this as close as we can to the original, which is nice.
Okay. Nice. You have to check out some of those. Definitely Beastbreaker. I did not realize that was a pinball game.
There was another pinball game I tried, but I'm not even going to mention it here because it was borderline almost unplayable. It wasn't as fun as I thought because you had to use the pinball to collect resources to build stuff, and I was like, this isn't done right.
Yeah, there are some fun games that do stuff like that. Like I've had pinball platformers, I've had strategy games, RTSs. Odama's a weird one. And it's very hit or miss on how they work. It's a very fine balance they have to get to. And
the one I got for Switch that I told you about and I told Chris about is so much better, and even Chris got addicted to that one. So
nice. All right, well, I will jump into mine, and I'm now going into week 4 of 3 of travel. Yes, I said that correctly because after getting back from the 3 I was supposed to be on, they've added another trip for next week. So far in the last 3 weeks, I've been to Texas, New Jersey, and then Illinois, and then now I'll be in Maine next week for part of that. So thankfully, I make it back in time to do the show, but I have been very late with the notes. Sorry about that. And I've been kind of relying on everybody else to kind of fill stuff in or keep me up to date as I'm running around. But hopefully this will be the last trip for a little while, and I'll get a little bit of a break. But we'll see what happens. But while I've been playing stuff, during this last couple of flights, or the last trip, I ended up, because I was wearing a Super Metroid shirt during one of my flights, one of the stewards that were on the flight was like, oh, I've never played that one. I'm curious how it is. Like, I played the original Metroid, and I'm like, how did you not go to Super Metroid? So I ended up saying, like, well, I haven't played it in a little bit. So I just cranked it up on my Switch, and I just played through it on there just to sit down and play all the way through Super Metroid, and still remember most of the stuff, which is good. A few times I had to kind of remember, but that's always a lot of fun. But I was also waiting until the Pokemon Direct the other day, which we will talk about here in a bit, to finally start playing Pokemon Leaf Green, which is annoyingly, this will somehow piss some people off. I bought it. It's $20. I don't feel bad about it. It's fine. We also bought Fire Red for my daughter, so technically I paid $40 on these games.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah, I fucking am. I don't care. I'm having fun with it. I forgot this is a much more unforgiving Pokemon game. They don't have any of the stuff that a lot of people get used to. We're like, oh, you can rewind time or do that. No, this is just the game. Get ready to save and do everything. And I feel kind of bad. So, yeah, because Jennifer, my daughter, is so used to playing all the Nintendo Switch Online titles, be it for whatever systems. And as soon as you leave the game, it auto saves. So she thought it was going to do that anyways. And mind you, my daughter has an anoxic brain injury. She doesn't quite understand all these things every time. So she was playing Pokemon for a while, backed out to play something else, and then was confused when she got back and her game didn't start back where she was. So I had to explain to her, I was like, no, honey, you have to go in and manually save it. I was like, just save all the time. It's not going to matter. Save whenever you think you need to. Save before a fight. Do whatever.
Once you hear that, like, ding, you can leave.
Right. Then you can do whatever you want. So she's figuring that out, and she's trying to collect Pokemon that she can trade with me. So right now I'm going to have so many Rattatas just to make her happy. I don't need them, but damn it, my daughter wants to give them to me, and I will give her something good in return. I got to remember which Pokemon are limited to which system or which version, so I can find all the ones she doesn't have and kind of hint towards her which ones she needs to get from me.
I'm sure if you go to like Celebi.net, they'll be able to tell you.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I think I still have the guidebook somewhere. I might break one of them out and let her use it. She'd love that. But we're having fun with it. I like how it plays. One little thing that I ended up researching, this is after you posted it, Steven. You were saying that there was a bug with the controls, with the L equals A control scheme, because people are like, oh, the D-pad doesn't work. But what it turns out it's actually a one-handed gameplay mode. So you use the analog stick to play. L becomes A. I think the LR becomes B, or whatever. And then the front, what is normally the D-pad and the Joy-Con becomes the other face button. So you have all the options. So it's actually like you can play with just one hand, which is kind of cool. So people that are disabled, that only have access to one hand or whatever the limitation, they can use that controller. Or if you're just hanging out and you just want to play it with one hand while you're doing something, you can. And I think they tried to do that in the Game Boy Advance version originally, but it didn't quite work the same because you only had the D-pad and it functioned differently. But it was kind of a fun little surprise to find that, because we all thought it was like a weird bug. And we're like, oh, no, they thought this through. It's okay. The other thing I ended up doing was I finally upgraded the memory in my Switch 2 because of some of the games we'll talk about. And I bought a 1 terabyte micro SD express card. And actually got a good price for it. I was shocked. As much as memory has gone up, GameStop had a deal where I was going to pay $200 for this thing. And I was like, screw it. I need to go ahead and do it because of the games I've gotten. And they actually gave me a discount. It was only $150. Now, I'm not going to say no to a $50 discount on a memory card. So for 1 terabyte, that's not terrible. So...
Spoiler, mine's pretty much full. I had to delete some stuff.
And I was having to do that for even demos, which I noticed when I tried to get the, what was it, Virtua Fighter 5 demo, that I could not download it. And I was like, oh, nope, need to start changing something.
Well, I found out the Split Fiction Friends Pass is 67 gigs.
Oh my God.
I'm like, that's double the size of Resident Evil.
Did somebody buy it on the Switch for you to try it, or are you just trying to see if it works with another version?
No, like eventually when we play it, I was like, I want to try the Switch 2 version and you host and see what happens. But then I was just like, I might have to come back and revisit this or abandon that, because that's 67 gigs for a Friends Pass.
Yeah, I might have to be the one to try it just because I've got space for it at the moment.
I was like, holy moly.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. Every one of my keycard games are installed now, and all of my games are downloaded. I'm like, oh, I have everything on my Switch 2 right now. I'm sure I'm going to go through and be like, oh, why did I put this back on here and yeet some stuff out? But I can at least try things again, so why not? So, all right, let's jump over to the group chat, because I know Steven desperately wants to talk some shit about Target. All right, and before we actually get to that, we're going to talk about some pickups, because I'm sure Steven's already got a couple of them. I know I have a few that I picked up, including one that Chase is happy about, that my wife randomly got for me. And since I've been talking for a little bit, Steven, we'll let you start with yours. Okay, I see you're showing a cat first.
Yep, here's his butt. First off, because I collect them, I got 2 of the upgrade packs for. They actually sell the Animal Crossing upgrade pack in stores.
Yeah.
So for $5, you can just get that and get that for somebody who doesn't have a Switch 2 yet, even, and be like, here, I know you have Animal Crossing, but when you get a Switch 2, use this. Trust me. And then I got the one for Pokemon Z to A when it goes on a deep discount again. But then, as well as that, one of my pickups I'm going to show because of a Target story in a bit. But I did get the controller, so I have the controller that says Reside Switch 2 Vil on the front.
I looked at it and I was just not happy with that design, like personally. So I decided to
finally got a long time pre-order. So I've got Rage of the Dragons Neo, which is the Double Dragon fighting game.
Oh,
that they came out with.
Okay.
I played this on 360 and loved it. So I was just like a better version, which was the Might and Magic Clash of Heroes Definitive Edition. It's actually a really fun like puzzle strategy type game.
Okay.
A game that Christian didn't know existed, thought it was only on PS4, is I do have Predator Hunting Grounds on PS5. Comes with a slip cover so you can reveal his face.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it comes with the DLC for every Predator, so you can get Predator 82, 87, like just every Predator. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. Because there wasn't an upgrade for PS4. So I was like,
I didn't even know that was a game. Like, I've got the last Predator game I bought was the one on the original Xbox. I managed to get a hold of a copy of it.
Of course,
that was Predator Concrete Jungle.
Of course, I had to get this.
Oh yeah, I finally
because it comes with the painting that was seen in the trailer. So that was the selling point right there. That little thing.
I just like how the castle is, and the fact it has a little piano too.
It was the biggest toy so far of the collection. And then lastly, and Chase will have to give me his opinion on it after this cat gets in my way. As I upgraded one of my headsets to the SteelSeries Arctis Nova 3P wireless that people had nothing but great things to say about it. So I was just like, I'm going to try it on my Switch too, because I want the audio to come out of the TV and I want the chat to come out of the headset. And they said you could only do that if you get a wireless one / Bluetooth one. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay.
SteelSeries headsets are good. That's what I used to run before I switched over to these.
But it was comfy, and it said it worked with Switch 2, which it did immediately. It's got PS5 audio presets. I'm like, I might play with those one day. Who knows?
Right.
Probably not tonight. I'll use still my regular headsets.
And you haven't noticed any kind of like the audio delay that some Bluetooth headsets get, or is that mostly just Switch 1? Switch 2 doesn't seem to have as much.
I couldn't try anything out because Christian stupidly sat next to me. So I was like, can you go upstairs so we can talk? And he's like, no. So I was like, well, screw you. So
how dare you be in the same room as me?
So I couldn't do an experiment, and I was like, that's fine anyway. But yeah, I'll be playing with that to see if it does what I want it to do. Otherwise, I just got a really nice, it's pretty comfy Bluetooth headset.
Okay. About how much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's usually 120, but Woot was selling it for 60, and I missed. They did a sale later on, which I already had bought it, so I bought other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a sale for 24 hours. If you use the code level 20, they took an additional like 20 to 30% off everything they were selling. So I could have got it for even less, but instead I got some more games, which I'll be showing off next week.
Okay. So for me, the game I was talking about with Chase, we had talked about this title before. It's called Dinkum, which is kind of like a Australian Minecraft. I need to play it still. But I was talking with my wife. We were in GameStop and they played a trailer for it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's, we were supposed to get that to try it out because Chase really wanted us to play it. And I was like, I didn't realize they had a physical copy. And they were like, yeah, we never got one in. So I was like, oh, I'll have to see if I can find one of those, waiting for us to get it. And we're driving off and Amanda's just like, all right, it'll be here Sunday. And I was like, what'll be here Sunday? It's like, oh, that game you wanted. I went ahead and just bought it. And I was like, damn. Like, okay. She will just buy me stuff. It's amazing. I love that woman. That's not the not the only thing, but So yeah, we'll have to try out Dinkum this week while I'm running around and see how it is. Have you played it at all yet, Chase?
No,
Or have you gotten it?
I haven't gotten it yet, but now that I'll have to look into getting it now that somebody's got it.
Yeah, I want to mess around with it and probably do the
Plus,
start of it.
there's a demo if anybody wants to try it. So.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to try that, but now I have the actual game.
Now you can delve into Dinkum.
Well, I want to compare it because it's supposed to be like a weird mix between like Animal Crossing, Minecraft, Dragon Quest builders, things like that. In Stardew Valley, like weird little like farming things. So I want to mess around with it and see how that is and kind of get back with you about it. But it seemed like something fun we could all play together. Of course, today I haven't had a chance to take the stickers off, but at an antique store, I found a copy of Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. It's complete, book and everything. Like, it's in actually pretty good shape. And I was like, well, I guess that adds to my Gran Turismo collection. Because I thought it was digital for the longest time. And then I was like, oh, shit, there's an actual copy of it. So I picked it up for... I mean, I can't argue. It's $4. Like, it goes for more than that in most places. So, hey, that's something. Another one I've been waiting for that, Steven, you've had nothing but good things to say about it, and I get to finally start playing it now. My copy of UFO 50 showed up. So I'll be trying that this week as well while I'm traveling. Which I've opened it up. Yep. I've looked at the strategy guide a little bit.
You're ready to reintegrate yourself into NES Hard.
Nice. I need to find out what controller options it has because it almost feels like I want to use the NES.
I know you told me in the beginning, and I never tested it, but I'm sure it should work.
Yeah, it depends because if they stick to NES rules, then I wonder if I can use an NES controller. That would be fantastic. I'd charge that damn thing up.
All the games are 8-bit, so I think they are.
And at worst, if I can't use the NES, I need more buttons. I can at least use the Super Nintendo. I think that'll be a good one. One of those two I want to use.
Yeah.
And the last thing I got that I'm sorry to point this out, Stephen, which we'll hear about your story in a moment, is my Resident Evil Generations collection that came in. Yes, it's key cards. Yes, I know I've bitched about key cards, but they're so pretty. And I just, screw it, I'm getting them. I'd forgot to pre-order this, went into GameStop the day before it released, and I was like, oh man, I forgot about that. And he's like, it's probably too late to pre-order them. And the manager looked at me, he's like, well, you playing it on Switch too? I was like, yeah. Were you planning on getting all 3 games? I was like, probably. He's like, yeah, we have 1 copy of that and nobody pre-ordered it. It's like, if you get it now, it's yours. And I was like, okay, done. That's part of what got me to buy the terabyte memory card. Cause like that's 3 more key cards. I know I'm going to need more space. So I went ahead and broke down and got it. But speaking of that, jumping from our pickups of that Resident Evil, let's talk to the other Resident Evil that Steven got me to finally play. And that is Resident Evil 6. I finally played it through at least the Leon and Helena, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Helena! Because you're yelling at everybody. We played through the mission on that, so I've finished the absurdity of that game, which I loved how bad it is. Like, it was so much fun of the ridiculous crap you do. Like, I know it's not a great Resident Evil, but I had fun. It's like Fast and Furious movies. You don't watch those for actual storytelling. You watch it for the stupidity and the craziness of what happens.
You're gonna see some tonal shifts where like one played like 4, one played like 5, one plays like 6, and stuff like that. But yeah, the big things I was showing him, Chase, was the thanks. The way they give thumbs up and like that all the time. I showed him some of the cool things they did, like if you're waiting at a door and you hold the button down, you can see where your other player is and what he's doing. So you can be like, why are you doing this? Get over here. Game chat worked really well on Switch too. So like we were playing that with full voice support. So I was like, it's like I'm on a 360.
There was one absolute dad joke that I threw out that Steven lost it because I said it without even really thinking. And Steve was kind of quiet for a moment before he burst out laughing. Ada Wong had taken off, like did her grapple hook, basically Batman level. Like that woman jumps around with hooks more than Catwoman does. And I think Steven said something about that she's left, and I'm like, yeah, she's Ada Wong gone.
Yeah,
And
you were like, oh, she's one gone. And I was like, oh god.
I know it's a dad joke. I don't care. I've raised 3 children. I get to do that.
But the other absurdity I got to show him, which this is not really a spoiler, but one of the first bosses you fight, for some reason she's like, that's my sister, and you're like, all right. And for a Resident Evil game, there's a lot of nudity in this game for some reason. But anyway,
nobody has nipples.
And then the sister just like starts like feeling herself up at one point. Like there's like a whole cutscene. It's just like this is.
Like she's got giant fucking scorpion tails coming out of her back, and she's like, "I love my sister," and she's like, "I need to hug her," and then her face splits open, and you're just like, "But I love my sister. I want to hug her," and I was just like, "She's got problems." Stop.
How was it you described it? Like, this is that person in a zombie movie that gets everyone else killed because they try and hide it?
I said, you like George Romero movies? Because this is the person that like doesn't realize that the person doesn't look human anymore and says, that's my dad, and goes up and gets crunched. And she's doing the same thing. Like, that's family. I'm like, they're gone.
That's dead. That needs to be dead. Yeah, that whole
like even the beginning scene where the guy's daughter turns and he's like, "Are you feeling okay?" I was just like, "What do you think? Her eyes are gone."
Yeah, so many cases of that happening, and I just thought it was hilarious.
But other than that, he's getting used to like the new stuff that hasn't been in any Resident Evil since, really, which was the Tic Tacs.
Yeah, that was new.
The fact that we can revive each other over and over and over again, so it's not over till it's over, and then we get hit twice. That there's a lot of incidents.
Or you keep getting hit by a train.
Incidents because I got hit by a train a couple dozen times because I was just like, I'm sorry, I'm not in the right spot. Because there's a lot of quick time that they do there too. But we're enjoying it, so I can't wait to play as either Jake or Matt Damon next. So
yeah, I'm really having a lot of fun with it. I'm glad I picked it up. Like, I know it's not a great game. I'm fine with that. But it is a fun
playing because 6 then goes into 9.
Yep.
So,
but I mean, regardless, I think this is more important. Is it's a fun co-op game. Sell it as that. This is a good co-op game for just having a blast. It may be a terrible story game, but so are a lot of Resident Evil stuff. Like,
this
that's just the nature of it.
It just decides to do it like you said many times. It takes the Fast and Furious route. Like, we're running from flying cars. We're piloting a plane and hitting everything. We're going.
The whole helicopter crashing sequence goes on far too long.
Zombies can now be made out from gas. Like, if you just breathe in the gas, you're a zombie and stuff like that. So it's like they're trying all these things. So
look, man, as long as there's letters in the alphabet that they can add virus behind, there'll still be Resident Evil games.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm having fun with it, and I'm looking forward to the other ones. It runs great on the Switch too, which is awesome. It doesn't have like a Switch 2 specific version. It just happens to run
it just
better.
Unlocks the frame rate, so it runs at a nice 60. So
yeah, we'll get back and figure out which story we're gonna do next, because we got what through this. The Leon and Helena story and like 2 playthroughs.
There's still
there's 3 more campaigns.
Since I never remember his name, it's Chris and Matt Damon. It's
Pierce. His name's Pierce.
It's Jake and Sherry, and it's Ada and surprise Hunk, teleporting Hunk. So
yeah, that's gonna be fun. So yeah, this will be one we can continue for a while.
He's like, I think that's a single player one. I was like, no, second player is actually Hunk, but he's never seen in any story cutscenes, and he teleports everywhere because he's just there to help.
Yeah, because I saw some other people were trying to argue with me, saying that's a single player only mode, and that's when you're like, no, there's another person. It's just really weird.
Yeah, because I was just like, I remember specifically telling Chase like, that he's a teleporting Hunk, and he's just like, I'm okay with this because he's like Hunk's awesome.
Hey man, that dude was built different. All right,
he survived some shit. Oh man! All right, the next part I wanted us to talk about, and this one's going to go back and forth. But we played Resident Evil Requiem this week. Resident Evil 9, for those that are asking.
Will be spoiler free for you guys.
Correct. I think both of us have only played the opening areas, so you might have little comments about that, but not anything beyond what we've seen in demos and so forth. A few reactions to stuff that have already been shown, but I'm not going into like a bunch of detail. I will be talking about how this thing runs on Switch 2 because, oh my God. But I first want to hear Steven's rant about Target.
So, as as Chase knows, Target's really good at pre-orders. Like,
Yeah, they're great.
So,
Ugh.
I wanted to get the Generations pack, and I'm like, do I get it from Best Buy? Do I get it from Amazon? I'm not getting it from GameStop. And
I was there and it happened to be there, okay? Don't blame me for my luck.
well, the fact that what GameStop does is if I pay through PayPal and I do like their pay in installments, everybody else knows how to do it. GameStop doesn't want to charge me until it ships, and then they're like, "Oh, it's declined," and I'm like, "Yeah, because the authorization doesn't sit there for that long." But anyway,
I don't know. I just pay for it. I'm done.
beside the point, they had a really good deal, which made me like weigh the con of I'm not going to get it on release day. I know I'm not going to get it on release day. So I was like, okay. Their thing was for Target Circle, you spend $100 on Nintendo games, and we'll give you $30 off. And I was like, cool. So that took that box set down to $60, which I was like, that is an amazing price for 3 games.
That
it's
is
$20 for Resident Evil. So I was like, cool. I just had to get some other game, which was NBA Bounce, which you heard how much I loved that.
Yeah, you got my interest in it because it was just sounded like it was kind of weird fun.
Yeah. But got that, and I was like, all right. And I was just like, let me look at it. It says preparing to ship March 2nd. Okay. Week of release comes, and I'm like, I wonder how it's going. Oh, it says back ordered. Still says March 2nd though, and even though I ordered it in January, it's somehow back ordered. Okay. And when you go to their site, it says pre-orders have sold out. I'm like, okay, so as long as you didn't over order anything or under order, that's fine. And then Friday morning comes along, and I see something from Target again. I'm like, it's got to be that it's shipping, right? And they're like, hey, that game you wanted, it'll probably get to you by after your birthday, so it won't get to you until the 13th. And I was just like,
Jesus,
fuck that. I was just like, I can't go free from spoilers when every YouTuber on face of this earth is playing the game right now. So I was just like, my algorithm's eventually going to be like, hey, I see you like Resident Evil. Do you want to know the final boss? And I'm going to be like, no.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get it. So I said, screw you, Target. I'm part of Circle. I want same day delivery this morning. I want the standard game, and just whoever has to deliver it has to give me a 40-pound box of cat litter too. So I was like, screw you, Target. I'm taking it out on your employees. So yeah, I did get the game, and now I have to sell it to somebody because the one I'm going to get doesn't have a barcode on it.
Yeah, because these editions, no barcode. It is the not for resale editions for all 3 of them, actually. Which I think, are they even going to be selling Village and...
Not that I know of. That's why it was such a good pack.
Yeah, because I get it. They're key cards. We've had this whole discussion. We're not going to get in the middle of it, but I got it because I liked how the case was. I was going to buy them all anyways, and I was happy to be able to pick it up physically because my kids want to play them as well, so they can just grab the cartridges.
Plus, if the rumor's true that they're making the remake pack of them too, where you can get 2, 3, and 4, I'm gonna definitely get that because I'll have like a nice little collection there. But anyway,
I really would like to get at least 2 as an actual cartridge, just because it's such a game I love. But either way, I'll end up picking it up for him.
So playing through it, I will say how far I got was I played through what everybody saw with Grace, and then I got to play a little bit of Leon, which was actually really good.
Yeah, the street fight.
I just. And Switch could handle that fine, even with the entire town running at me. And then I went back to Grace for a little bit, then back to Leon for a little bit, where you finally get to learn about the chainsaws and stuff like that.
So you got further than I have.
Because the zombies can continually pick up weapons to go against you. and I did Chase's favorite thing. I sharpened my axe in the middle of a big fight.
It's always such an overstated ridiculousness when that happens in games.
They do the same thing where you get achievements, and those achievements are used to get charms and costumes and stuff.
Mhm.
So it's saying how many people you've killed or how many people you've killed with the axe and stuff like that, which is neat.
Have you found any of the
I
little
did have
arcade coins?
Huh?
Have you found the arcade coins at all?
Yeah, I found the coins and I know where to use them now because there's one that gives you more carrying space and stuff, and there's one that gives you more health.
Yeah,
So,
I've only found one coin. I don't know what they do yet. I've only gone from Grace's first part, the Leon first part, and then I'm in Grace's second part trying to figure out a way to
this
get
one
through.
borrows from Seven. Seven
Mhm.
had a coin system where the coin gave you permanent upgrades to things.
Okay,
So that's where I know it from. Is you
gotcha.
find all these coins everywhere.
I forgot about
Um,
that. I haven't played that in a while.
Grace's parts for me, except for you don't really hide, you just duck under things, but it's so very clock towerish. It was amazing because even trying to push something, you can't be like you would in an old Resident Evil. You just push it with reckless abandon, because if you do that, shit falls off of it and cracks, and then suddenly you've got that big old bitch you've seen from the trailer coming after you because it heard you. So
Yeah, I'm
you have
still
to be
having.
careful with certain things because you can actually bump into something and it knocks over. So you're like, okay, if I can push that, I'm going to push it very slowly because I do not want to be caught right now.
Yeah, they pretty much you can't get around that one. The
They
problem I'm
don't
having
make
with those.
they don't make it scripted, so you can kind of come across with your own battle plan because this is not really a spoiler, but the big witch, it doesn't like light. So you can actually play around with light switches to like trap her in a room and make her go away by just turning on the light while she's chasing you, and she'll just scream in horror.
Mhm.
And little things like that, and you'll definitely see in full force when they talked about the zombies who just have to keep doing what they're doing in their life. It actually makes for a really cool gameplay quirk, which I
forgot
really
about that.
liked.
Yeah, I want to see about
Some,
that.
some are funny, some are unique. It adds to the puzzle system. There's 3 modes. There is one that does auto saving, but I'm actually just doing the classic mode because I want to use ink ribbons. So I want to have that experience of having to carry those around.
I ended up playing it not that version because I've dealt with ink ribbons for so many decades at this point. I'm just like I just want to play it and have fun. I don't want it to be like so easy. There's not a challenge, but the gameplay and the story needs to be what's kind of entertaining me, and I don't want to have to fight with hunting down or making ink ribbons. I've never really liked, especially a game that's portable, having a limitation on saves. Like I know like they've had different ones of like, your rating would be on how many times you've saved it and so forth. And I might try later on other runs to do that. But initially I just want to be part of the story and have a little bit of a challenge and fight with it. That's why I ended up choosing it. And I'm pretty sure that's not the only choice we made differently, because I'm fairly damn sure you're playing both versions in third person.
Hell yeah, first person can die in a fire.
I'm
for life.
playing it how they recommended originally, Leon in third person, and I'm playing Grace's parts now in first person, just because that's how they designed it, and I wanted to see how it is. But I do like the fact you can choose. And Grace's just feel kind of better for me in first person because it's such a tight environment that the third person, you kind of block the view when you're doing things, and it's harder to judge how much space you have. Either way, you can't seem to hide. That damn witch can always see you, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, it was so much easier to hide in third person because then I could tell I was under something.
Yeah, I've gone to the point. I've gotten the screwdriver. She burst the door down, and now I'm trying to get past to get to the fuse. And she keeps coming back down, and I'm trying to figure out how to get around her. And there's some of the mechanics of like you can throw things to break it and distract her, but it hasn't seemed to really distract her at all. She's just like, no, I don't give a shit. I'm coming for you anyways. And I'm like, come on, what's the point of this? But I'm having fun with it.
I do like how the music tenses up when they see you.
Yeah.
And if you're running, your character can actually like trip over itself because she's out of breath or she's just, super full of anxiety, so she'll like stumble, and I'm like, this is a really cool aspect because it gives the tension of the chase. It's not just I can infinitely run from you. So I kind of enjoyed that.
Yeah, that leads into one of the other things I think you and I both really enjoyed, and that's the audio setup in this game. The audio is so well done, even down to like her anxiety of her talking to herself or just whispering stuff comes through. And I don't know if it's different. I need to try the third person just to see how the audio is different, but it's kind of fun having it as that first like center speaker type talk because it's from her mouth. But you can hear like the witch's chains going through the roof and kind of get an idea of where she's at.
The Switch for a Nintendo system,
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time I got to play with 5.1 sound. You're hearing it here first, Chase. There's a setting for home theater, and then you
Mm-hmm.
tell it where you have your back and front speakers, because whenever they do rain, it sounded tremendous in the beginning when I was hearing the rain,
Yeah.
and then the HD Rumble decided to do little pitter pats of rain on my controller, so you could like feel it. And like he said, when you're walking around and a train goes by, you feel the train go by, like the tracks.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not like overly done. You feel that little bit of rumble. Like if you've ever been near a overhead train when it goes by, you feel that in the ground. There's always that little bit of vibration, and it translates really well to the Pro controller, as well as and I'm talking specifically the Switch 2 Pro controller and the actual Switch 2 Joy-Cons.
Last few points I'll say is they
Mhm.
did do a great job with the physics of it now, because when you're knocking zombies into other zombies in older Resident Evils, like they just flew everywhere. Now they just kind of casually bump into each other, push one out of the way, push one over. Uh, they react really well. You can shoot off limbs now
Mhm.
because the head and the legs are the weakest. So you can just shoot off a leg and they'll just keep coming for you. I had one where I shot off a leg and they kept slithering towards me with their chainsaw in the hand, and the chainsaw was just hitting the floor. And this is all on Switch 2, mind you, hitting the floor. Sparks were flying everywhere, and this is all in 60 frames. And I was like, this game runs like a dream on this system.
Yeah, during the Leon opening part, I did try out, and I really like the motion aiming option. Like I like being able to go into the direct down the barrel aiming and be able to actually use the motion to get better shots, because groups of them will start coming at me. I'll shoot one in the knee, which knocks it down, which slows down the one behind it and lets Leon run up and of course do his crazy physical attacks, which that's something else from 6 I absolutely love, just like suplexing stuff. And
well, yeah, because they added a new one where if you're running
mm-hmm.
and then you press A, they do like a soccer kick, and I was like, oh.
But I like the fact that like when you do that and you kick one of them or hit one of them, you can knock down the ones behind it. It's not like it clips through or it'll actually affect them. So I was planning that where I'd drop one, and then when it was getting out, the other was coming at me, I'd kick it or hit it to knock that one down and then start shooting him in the head.
And then I'm pretty sure that it clears itself when you quit the game after you've saved and come back. But when you get the ability to basically explode the zombies, like they said in the last direct, that blood stays there like forever. Like I went through all these hallways, and where I exploded the one zombie, it was still a mess. Blood stays, and you can basically tell where a battle's has taken place, which I thought was really sweet. But the last thing I'll say is, thankfully, they still have the absurdity of Resident Evil, because you have your knives. Okay, now you can break down your knives into scrap. However, like they said in the direct, Grace can collect blood to explode the zombies, but she can also collect blood to make other items. So, if you find empty ink ribbon tins and you get a nice half a vial of blood, you can make ink.
Yeah. I thought I did read about that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. You can make
so I was like, you
that
can
way.
save in blood. So I was like, Resident Evil don't ever change.
Yeah, my last thing I want to point out is you and I both played this on Switch 2. I know there's other versions for Series S that were they work, but they're limited. Series X and PS5 are the standard versions. PS5 Pro is the one you have to kind of get for the ray tracing and some of that. But I have to say the Switch 2 version has absolutely blown me away with the amount of detail, how it runs. everything feels like the full game. And if this is the only way you can play it, which I think might be my way, is just playing it on Switch 2, I don't think you're going to miss anything. You get the full experience with everything there as it was meant, and the fact that we're getting it day and date with everything else is such a huge
big thing, yeah.
new thing that I'm excited to see where that goes from now on. Because we've gotten great ports on Switch too, but there are games that have been out for years or came out a little bit later.
The only thing I've noticed, and I think they do that because many people, myself included, don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They started this with Tomb Raider when they ported the definitive edition to Switch 2. And then if we go into Pragmata, the demo,
Mm-hmm.
and now Resident Evil 9, is they don't seem to care about the hair tech. So the hair will always take a back seat. So the hair will it'll look good, but it'll just be like, it's not going to flow over each other's arms or do anything it needs to. But if the scene calls for them to be upside down, the hair will be, where it needs to be.
Right.
It won't be stuck to their head looking unrealistic. But it's also not going to be free flowing while you're running and playing in actual gameplay. Because Tomb Raider did that, where they like the hair doesn't really move the way it did in the other versions, and it's the same thing with Pragmata and 9. Which if that's your big decision is the hair tech, to each his own.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is the game just looks a little bit scratchier in places, because certain lighting sometimes you'll see like a little kind of like black, not smudges, but like scratches.
It's like the grainy effect as it's trying to render it out. Yeah.
It's very minimal, but overall, like when somebody's close up, it is crystal clear, pores and on their skin and everything. So
yeah, I think it's natural. What was it, like upscaling artifacts is kind of what it is, because it's using a much more advanced, newer version of the upscaler that the Switch 2 is capable of using, which even the Series S is not for what it's doing, which is why even though it's rendering at a lower resolution internally, it's giving a better image and gameplay than the Series S because of that, which is rendering at a higher resolution. So yeah, if this is how you want to play it, I sign off on it. It looks amazing. I'm looking forward to trying out later how 7 and 8 translated over. I just want to kind of go back and mess with them and maybe go further in them, because I played them. I never quite finished them all because I would just kind of burn out after a while. Maybe as a portable, I'll have better luck, and I have all the DLC included, which is nice too. So, all right, let's jump over to our news this week, because we've kind of just been talking about Resident Evil for the last hour. All right, so first of our two main stories tonight is the February 27th Pokémon Direct, which has occurred on the Pokémon 30th anniversary, which is, not too bad for that on February 27th. That was the 30th anniversary of Pokemon Red and Green, I believe, the ones that came out in Japan initially, that their launch day. So the first thing, this is such a weird thing the more I've looked at it, is the Pokemon Red and Blue game music collection. It's available now. It's like $70, but it's already sold out, so good luck getting it. But it's a little Game Boy. It's like a little mini one. You can't play it, but it has 45 cartridges that come with it.
Think hip clips.
Yeah, very much like hip clips. You put a cartridge in, and it'll put a static scene on the screen of the Game Boy on the back of the cartridge, and they're all either half of them are Pokemon Red, half of them are Pokemon Blue. But each cartridge contains one song from the original Pokemon game soundtrack that the system will play. And I love the absurdity of this, and I've been thinking about how they could have done it. Because most of the time you'd be like, oh, maybe you could have a cartridge or just have the memory built in, and it could play it. But the fact that they're doing 45 different ones makes me wonder if these are just jumpers that tell the system which pin is in there. You put it in and certain ones are activated or not, and that gives it a number assignment and plays that tune. Because otherwise it would be absolutely nuts if they have 45 cartridges that all have chips in them. Like, that is absurd waste of material. Because even with just Game Boy tunes, you could get such a small bit of memory and have it all there. But it is kind of a neat idea, and I want to get it because it's so absurd. And I love absurd technology. But I want to get y'all's thought on this. Like, Steven, I know you were excited about it. I think, have you already managed to order one? Are you trying to?
No, I got it.
You motherfucker.
I shared it with everybody as soon as it came up.
I didn't have a chance to get it. I'm not mad about that. I'm just like,
I shared the link with everybody as soon as it came up, and then I was just like, I'm going in. I'm not paying anything but credit card so that it goes right through and doesn't have any problems. So
there you go.
Like, I was like, get it, got it, good.
It's such like, what are your
if
thoughts on
anything
this?
else? Pokemon, like if it was just like it's a music player that looks like a Pokeball, I'd be like, who cares? But I was just like, it's Nintendo nostalgia, so I was like, give it to me.
Chase, what about you? What did you think when you saw that?
I was just like, of course they did. Like, this is like the most Nintendo thing I've ever seen.
Well, it's a Pokemon ass company for this one.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, true, but yeah. I mean, good on it. Like, you know, it like Swan said, it's a nostalgia item.
Oh yeah.
So people will love it.
Because it looks like this isn't something like you're going to walk around and listen to. I don't even think it has an active headphone jack. I think it just plays out of the little speaker and the tiny Game Boy. It runs off watch battery, so it's not doing anything insane. The screen is not real, so there's none of that. The controls aren't real. You cannot play games on it. And I am almost certain.
Can it run Doom?
Maybe the music.
Someone's going to make a Doom run on it. You watch.
So here's my theory on how this works. Just as an engineer, I had to figure this out because I love this stuff. I'm pretty sure all 45 tracks are stored on the system. They're on a single chip inside of there, and there's going to be a series of pins that each cartridge has different connectors that says this connects to that or whatever, and that's how it identifies it. Probably a binary or something, which means I could probably make a cartridge that has access to all the pins and just put little jumpers on the back to just connect one way or the other and switch between all 45 on a single cart.
But what if they then release a yellow expansion kit?
See, then it would have to be either the music was already there and that could be accessed with the jumpers, or then they are putting it on the chip, which is even weirder. And that it would cost so much more than $70 if they, y'all are just laughing, but like, I know this is going through my brain. I have to figure it out. Everything I get my hands on, I have to figure out. This is why I do engineering.
He's going to get it and take a hammer and be like, how do you work?
I will be nicer than a hammer.
Yeah, no, I know.
But it will come apart. So help me God. So, I mean, it's, as Chase said, you're not wrong. It's the most Nintendo-ass Nintendo thing. Like, this is as crazy as getting a Virtual Boy you have to shove your Switch into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like showing off during your state of play speakers.
Oh, yeah. Speakers are weird, but at least that made a little more sense. I don't know. All right, next up, Pokemon Go will hold a Pokemon 30th Anniversary All-Out event starting March 7th to March 9th, where all existing Pokemon in Pokemon Go will be showing up. So if you're looking for something, that's when you go get it.
She said it.
Yeah. A Pokemon Go Tour Kalos Global is probably done by the time you're hearing this because it ends on Sunday at some point. So I hope you enjoyed it, but it's too late now. The next thing, this I'm actually kind of interested in. Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is coming to Nintendo Switch Online GameCube for Switch 2 in March of 2026. So sometime, well, this month, because this isn't going out until March 1st. So sometime this month, you'll be able to have that for GameCube. Have you guys ever played this originally, or have you ever had any interest in this series?
I hated it.
Really? Okay. Chase, what about you? Ever play it?
No, I never played it.
Well, now you got your chance. It was definitely weird. It's not a normal Pokemon game. So, don't know.
It's an acquired taste.
It is. It's kind of their first, almost like a proto Legends. And I only say that because it's like a side story where they're doing something different. I think if they had made it now, it would have been a Legends game. Just because of that. To be like, hey, we're doing this. It's a little different. It's under this subgenre now. Might have actually made more sense. We did get confirmation Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red are both getting home support, but only for exporting your Pokemon. So you can pull Pokemon and send them to home to then, descent wherever you want for your other stuff, but you cannot bring them back. So it's a one-way trip out of there. But people were wondering, why can't it be a Nintendo Switch Online title? And this is why. You can't have the save states and the rewind. You have to play it as you normally do so that those Pokemon are correct to go to home.
One guy played it on his Twitch channel, and he reset it 1,100 times until he got a shiny Charmander.
Jesus. I forgot people would restart that thing for that, and you have to go through so much shit before you get your Pokemon. I forgot. Oh, that's terrible. Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That's just too much shit for me.
It's dedication.
It is. It's also a streamer. He's probably getting paid the whole time. Pokemon Champions is set to release for April 2026 for Switch and Switch 2, as well as a mobile version coming out later this year. Some people were kind of excited for this one as a online way to battle for a lot of the stuff. Steven's response of yawning fits.
Chase was yawning internally.
Yeah.
I figured that's the only mobile game I'm really going to mention was just that. I figured why not. Afterwards, we had Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension DLC news. For those that are playing it, Mega Garchomp Z was shown off, which you can claim with a mystery gift right now. I know the DLC is available for order. Is it out? I couldn't actually find one way or the other on that. Because they're saying the mystery gift is available now to get him.
I don't know. You can buy the card at Target.
That's true.
DLC card.
No clue on that. Pokemon Pokopia got some updates, and I'm actually more interested now. The trailer did its job. Kind of showing stuff off. First thing that has you able to get a Rotom stereo Rotom character called DJ Rotom for your home, which will allow you to play music from the history of the Pokemon games with CDs that you either can find or get in some other way that you can feed into it. And there's a selection of tunes. And it's kind of cute. Your character and other Pokemon will dance when it plays music. It's kind of adorable. We were introduced to another character called the Gredent Cook named Chef Dente, who will help you learn how to make food for yourself and other Pokemon, determining what food they like and trying to help out. Yeah, I went and looked it up for what you just changed, and it was actually the other mode too for that what I mentioned, but I'll get to it. But yeah, after that they showed the 4-player multiplayer, which I was kind of intrigued by, where you can pick one of your Pokemon that's with you and go travel to another town and have 4 players all meet together. And you can play hide and seek, where you can normally hide, or you can basically change into the objects in the environment because the Ditto can copy things. And I originally said it's kind of like an adorable version of Prop Hunt, which was a mode they had on Call of Duty. But then Steven, you changed it and said it was Team Fortress.
Yeah, I've never seen it in Call of Duty.
Yeah, I looked it up. They had a Call of Duty mode called Prop Hunt that they would bring out on occasion. Because that's what kind of threw me off when I looked it up.
I always saw the Valve games using it first.
They probably were. When I was thinking Prop Hunt, because I remember hearing about it.
Microsoft steals everything.
It's a special. I think it was a special mode that showed up in Call of Duty like every so often.
It probably did start in Team Fortress. That feels like a Team Fortress ass game mode. But I'm kind of curious how it's going to be, because I was like, oh, this Ditto is hidden as this palm tree. But then its Pokemon that it brought was just standing there. And I'm like, I hope that wanders off and is not like a dead giveaway. Like, oh, this weird tree has got that person's Pokemon sitting there. Like, that's not helping, guys. But yeah, they showed off a very Minecraft or Dragon Quest Builders multiplayer mode where they're building a giant Ditto and added in like little music tiles you could step on and things, which was kind of neat. I have to say my interest in the game is kind of increased. If I get it, I'll probably just get it digitally, because this is a title that's going to get updates and change all the time.
Yeah, they had a treehouse thing where they showed an hour of it. and people were enthralled the entire hour. So I was like,
Really?
okay.
Maybe I didn't watch that one as much. Is this one you're interested in as well, Chase? I'm not sure how you are with Pokemon and stuff.
I don't know. I'm still a little bit creeped out of the whole like fact that you're probably playing as like some like dead girl, like either ditto murdered or just like found laying somewhere. Like, I don't
As
know.
Rob Zombie would say, this is a living dead girl.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like maybe I'd be more interested if it was something that like we were all gonna play together type thing.
I think that feels like a make or break it thing with us. If we all get
Yeah.
it, we'll play it. But if only some of us are, it might be a little iffy. You know, we got a higher chance of us all playing Demio.
I'll get it because this
Yeah.
is the closest thing we're going to get to Cubivore.
This does not feel like anything like Cubivore. Cubivore is
It's
so
a cozy game.
Cubivore is so different than this.
So
That's like trying to say
Cubivore was
Minecraft
cozy.
is just Cubivore when it has nothing to fucking
Cubivore
do
was
with
cozy. You got to mate and eat each other.
it.
And,
Cubivore was violent. Like you were tearing shit up trying to survive. That's a game I want them to put on Nintendo Switch Online. That is the one title I want to see.
Talk to Atlas.
Yeah, which means we'll never freaking get it. Last thing they showed off, if you pre-order the game, you can get a Ditto rug for your house, which I guess then you can mimic and probably be the rug. I don't know. It's just more stuff to copy. But yeah, it's the game's coming out March 5th, so we'll have a couple days to decide if we're going to get this or not and see where that goes. And then the last bit, this is the big one, is we got the Generation 10 Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves announced and shown off. Global simultaneous 2027 release, which I want to start off with this because Steven and I were talking about this before. This game is not coming out till 2027. We are seeing this in the beginning of 2026, so there's going to be generally about a year more development time. The game already looks phenomenal compared to what we've been getting from a lot of Pokemon games for the last like 10 years. I think we can all agree on that. This looks worlds better with the environment, the characters, the creatures, things you can do. This looks like a game meant for it. And the main part of that is that this is only on Switch 2. There is no Switch 1 version being made. And I think this is the fastest Pokemon Company has moved to a new generation of hardware than previously. Because most of the time you'll have a game come out that kind of straddles the line. And I guess you could kind of argue ZA might have been that to a point. But yeah, Pokemon Winds, Pokemon Waves, Switch 2 only. You're going to have to upgrade if you want to play this. So, Chase, get on it and get yourself a Switch 2.
Working on it.
He's like,
it's coming out the same year as Fire Emblem, so he's working on it.
Yeah.
That's probably that's in his wheelhouse.
Unless they just shadow drop it one day and then he's like, fuck.
So first impressions, Steven, I know you, I'm curious your thoughts on this when you first saw the trailer. How did you feel about this?
No, I was actually excited because a lot of the older ones that have had their 2 versions have been very stagnant in how they play. And people eventually said, why can't Arceus be something that runs better and has 2 versions? And this is basically that realization, but with a huge upgrade. So it's what people loved, which was Arceus. And now they're taking it and saying, oh, we're going to make it's the next generation now. You're going to have your starters and everything, which are already adorable. So it's like, all right. So, I'm all in on this one because I already had like the Let's Go Pikachu, which was kind of like your first foray if you wanted to have it on like a Switch Pokemon game. And I never really got into Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet.
I enjoyed them, but yeah, I could see it.
It was just basically down to Arceus and then maybe eventually Legends because Legends had kind of like a unique battle mode. But I was just tired of the old formula and I was just like, I really wish they would evolve. And this is kind of like, this is Pokemon's Breath of the Wild moment. It's basically like Breath of the Wild meets Kanto region where you're getting now what you wanted. And it's going to be great, I think.
And of course, as we'll talk about in a minute, that did not stop people from bitching about everything. But Chase,
What's the
what about you?
Pokemon cycle, though?
That's true. Chase, what about you? What were your first thoughts watching this trailer?
You can't please them all. That's for sure.
You can't please any of them. It
But you
seems.
gotta please them all. Pokemon.
Yeah, gotta catch them all, but you can't please them all. Like there's, yeah. I mean, it looks good. Like I'm interested in it. Like I haven't
Mhm.
played Pokemon, like a mainline Pokemon game in ages, though. To be fair,
What was the last one you actually got into?
oh geez, dude, are you dating me here? Because I would.
Yeah, I'm dating you. I
The
want
last
to
time that
hear it.
the last mainline Pokemon games was the Game Boy games that I actually played.
Like OG Game Boy?
Yes,
Like red, blue, yellow?
Red, blue, yellow.
What
Back
the
where he
shit,
could-
man?
Back where he couldn't fit his full name as his character.
Yeah.
He was Chaz.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was Chaz, or I was
So basically, you just have not played Pokemon at all in decades.
no, not to be fair. No, like
That's fine. That's fine.
I dabbled a little bit with the Pokemon Go thing for a while when that craze was going on, because there was
That's fine.
because
Yeah.
a partner I was with at the time, she really enjoyed it and stuff. But like, I mean, no, I just haven't really played any of the mainline Pokemon games. I probably should get back into it, but because I enjoyed
okay,
the originals.
Does this?
It's okay. You've got one earlier than me, because the last mainline I've actually played is now on Nintendo Switch.
Am I the only one that's played every one of them? I had kids the perfect age, like from growing up, that we would just get every Pokemon game, every set of them, and play them.
The problem with me was there was two versions, and I had a friend, and Chase can attest to it, that is so addicted to Pokemon that
Oh yeah,
she can talk your ear off, where you're suddenly like, I don't want to play it now because there's too much to worry about. And she's like, make sure you do this and this and this. And you're like, how about I just buy something else?
Oh yeah, when people started getting into like, you got to make sure it's got the right IV or the right temperament or this or that, and I'm like, I just want to pick the fun
then it'll
Pokemon.
win the beauty contest and you'll have a gorgeous one. And I'm like, gorgeous what? I just want to name them and fight. Oh my god.
Yeah, some of the mechanics were fun to do if like you decided I wanted to mess with that and you could go into it, but some people did take it just everything. So yeah, I've seen people like that. So I think, Chase, if this is one you do end up getting into, it's a good pickup point to kind of jump back in. If you wanted to play a little bit newer take on the older Pokemons that you liked, you could pick up, Leaf Green or Fire Red and play the Game Boy Advance version to mess around with.
I was actually thinking about doing that just because it was like,
I wish it had an online function for trading and stuff, though. That's still such a weird thing. Like, Pokemon Home is nice, but it had a wireless mode. You tell me they couldn't convert that somehow to, use some kind of Nintendo Switch Online to be able to do something?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, because Sword and Shield, I was thinking about jumping into Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet and Violet came out. That was a mess when that came out.
It had good mechanics, and that was about it. Like everything else was terrible.
Like, yeah, and then like that's why what everybody was saying, like that's why I guess apparently some people were like bitching about this game. I was like, well, definitely can't be like any worse than like from all the horror stories I heard of the last one.
Like, I'm excited to know more about this one because it's not doing the same formula again.
Yeah, I like how detailed the world is, and we still have a year to go at least before this is going to come out.
I'm interested to see like the changes and like what they do differently.
Yeah, and this one you either get the male Pikachu version or the female Pikachu version. So it's like,
I'm sure there'll be some other stuff with that as well, but
that's their biggest selling point, though, is which tropic Pikachu do you want?
Well, I know they're going to have, like, I've seen people complain about the character models. They're like, oh, the Pokemon look horrible. Like, they don't have the outlines on them, or they look all bad. And I'm like, the Pokemon look fine.
Game's a year away.
Yeah, it's a trailer. Give them a break. It may not have every visual effect in there, but if it looks remotely like what this trailer looked like and it looked like it was an in-engine running as they're doing it, we're in for a massive, as you said, evolution of the series, for a lot of it. And I do like the fact that this is going to be more like Arceus. I really liked the Pokemon catching mechanics and how that worked. And I hope you do get to have your Pokemon running around with you like you could in that game.
Yeah, if we can get a fully realized, fully functional, running really smoothly Breath of the Kanto, then we're good.
And I think, Chase, if there's another one you wanted to get into just to get back into Pokemon and mess with it, I might actually point you more towards Arceus as the one to get into, because it's not as serious. It's self-contained, a little fun with time travel. And you get to mess around with the Pokemon in the environment. And it's fun having them all in scale to each other. You know, when you're throwing them out there and having them follow you around, or just having them play with each other, do whatever. It's kind of a fun way to get into it. It's not the most beautiful Pokemon game, but it does have some nice parts to it. And they did have a lot of fun with the character models and doing that. So that would probably be a good option as well, just to give it a shot, just to kind of get back into Pokemon before getting into this new one as a mainline series. So, but we were looking at it, and speaking of the environments, it looks like there's a day and night cycle, because they were showing different times of day as the characters are running around. Seems like for a lot of different environments, we saw like a beach, a coast, and oceans, underwater, which looks like we'll be able to go underwater, which is not the first time that's happened in Pokemon. You could do that with the dive ability, and you might have little areas you can go in on older games, but this is the first fully 3D, like, looks like you can explore underwater and do things, which makes me wonder, will there be an air area as well? Because there is winds, not just waves. And there was like a cloud that looked kind of like a dragon hiding in the sky, one dark cloud, which I was like, that you put that there on purpose. That was not just the one cloud that looks weird. And we had full forests, lava volcano caves, mountain hills. There were swamps, looked like a resort, all kinds of places. So it feels like an actual world. Even if it's just an island, it's like the island of Hawaii or something. There's a whole bunch of different environments you can go to in those places. So, we did get to see the 3 new starters, and I'm kind of curious if you guys have picked which way you might go with this.
Fire.
Say what?
Fire.
Well, we have Brout, which is a grass type bird. We have Pombon, which is a fire type dog, which is basically a Pomeranian. And then we have Gekwa, which is a water type gecko. I'm probably going to go the water type gecko. That's just what I'm kind of interested in. Chase, I'm going to ask you, but it's been so long since you picked a Pokemon. I don't know if you remember how to do that.
Yeah, right. I think I would probably go with Gekwa as well.
Oh, okay.
Are you hoping he grows up to be a ninja?
Yeah, something.
I'm very curious what these are going to be. I think, what was that? I saw someone was like, please don't let the dog grow up to be like this giant muscle-bound, standing up, 2-legged creature. Like, just let it be a dog.
Yeah, just let it become like Cerberus or something. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say its evolution should add a head until there's 3 heads.
It's like a weird take on Ditto to Dugtrio, except for with a dog. It's a Pomeranian's already so cute. Like, anything you do to it's gonna be bad.
There's people already on the internet are just like, this game's not even out, and I would kill somebody to save this Pokemon. So.
Oh god, I liked, what was it? Rachel had posted something on the Discord, which showed Pombon, and it's like, you know, Pokemon Waves, and just showed the dog all soaking wet, and then Pokemon Winds, and it shows it like fluffy and like bright again. Yeah. And I'm like, so you're just going through the stages of how a dog is in weather. It was pretty good. So, yeah, I think we're all pretty positive about this, because we're not the internet. We are just people wanting to enjoy games, so we are okay with it. But Jennifer has not quite made the connection yet that she can't play this because she doesn't have a Switch 2 yet. So we're going to have to get on actually getting her one at some point, because she will be, I love her to death, she will be fucking insufferable if I don't.
They might make a bundle like they did with ZNA. So
yeah,
that's true. Maybe I'll upgrade to that and she'll get my Switch 2. That's what happened with the Switch. Like, I upgraded to a different Switch and she ended up getting my old one, and she takes really good care of it. So I'm not worried about that. But it's just, those things are expensive, man. I can't just go buy one, and there's not enough games that she really needs to play right now. She was already upset about not being able to play the Kirby DLC, but I was like, that's just extra stuff. that's a whole different thing. So I don't know. We'll see who gets a Switch 2 first, Chase or Jennifer. My money's on Jennifer, it seems.
Probably.
Sorry, Chase.
Fireman's like coming this August, and he's just like,
Yeah. Nintendo would do that to me too.
Oh, they're going to. I have a feeling they're going to
put.
put.
They still haven't announced what's padding out the rest of the year.
Yeah,
because
we still haven't got a Direct.
Pokopia is the spring game, so it's like, where are we going?
Yeah, it's still very weird that we're going into March and we still don't have a Direct, like an actual. We've had a third-party Direct, we've had a Pokemon Direct, we have not had an actual Nintendo one to tell us the rest of the year. And weirdly enough, nothing about Zelda's 40th anniversary. Like they just completely skipped over that day, like it never happened. I don't even think they even added music to Nintendo Music. Like they did.
I think they just do 30, 60, and 90. They don't like doing
50. They usually do 50.
Yeah.
So maybe
but
that's
they really
maybe
had
they're
anything
skipping. Maybe they're skipping 40 and just waiting for 50.
Well, they haven't really had anything to do 50 yet because.
So when I get a senior discount, hopefully I can get a senior discount on the Zelda 50th edition.
There you go.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like they're celebrating the 30th for Pokemon, which I get. That's such a big franchise. But Zelda's not a small one, though. Like Zelda sells pretty well for a lot of its games. So, all right, let's jump over to our last story for tonight. This is the other side of the coin for Gotta Catch 'Em All, the bad side. But Netflix has officially backed out of the Warner Brothers purchase deal and have allowed Paramount Skydance to move forward with the purchase as they did not want to raise their offer to counter. So basically, Paramount Skydance has had to pay Netflix a $2.4 billion breakup fee for them leaving the deal. So this ended up causing Paramount to pay much more for each share than they originally offered. So Netflix played them really well. They got $2.4 billion out of it. And now Paramount is having to pay $31 a share versus their original offer, which was considered at $19 a share. So they definitely got a chunk out of them. Basically Netflix increased it and then took off, leaving them the bill. But this will also place the already very debt-buried Paramount Skydance very deep into the red and could cause a collapse over overextension, as they will still have debt from the previous recent merger on top of this. And they're basically trying to be privately financed by certain groups and see how that goes. They still have to get through the regulatory steps to allow the purchase and merger, even with today's government kind of being in favor of it and certain people's friends funding this. We will likely still have to spin off entire parts from the deal to meet requirements. So if this deal is stopped by government decision, though, Paramount Skydance will have to pay Warner Bros. Discovery a $7 billion breakup fee as well.
I like the $7 one.
Yeah, it's $7 billion. Yeah, not $7, $7 billion. So the amount of companies that this will put into one place is just horrifying. Like even just if we're looking at the gaming side of it, that's all of Warner Brothers games, which now includes all of DC Comics and all of the games they were doing, all of Mortal Kombat and Neversoft, and so many other things all tied into that they now have control over to bring around.
Turning into grocery stores.
Pretty much.
Where it's like you don't know how many brands like these people actually own. They just keep the old names. I have a few thoughts.
Okay, go for it.
Well, they're both good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually just start with the bad first, which has probably a silver lining. Is they already said they're going to absorb HBO Max into Paramount Plus, which is fine because I get Paramount Plus through Walmart Plus. But beside that, just like Disney and Hulu, it's probably going to take quite some time for all that technical stuff to happen.
Right.
And while that's happening, the old app still works. You can still use your Hulu account for your Hulu stuff and Disney for Disney stuff plus Hulu. But I think they'll just make the Paramount Plus thing more attractive. And until they can phase it out, HBO Max won't change. It'll still just be the way it is. Just with maybe a new graphic, a new subtitle, whatever.
Whatever new name this week, it's changed. I can't tell you how many times.
There is rumors that because my friend's been following it closer and he's trying to find out everything about it. There's rumors that they might buy out James Gunn from his contract and be like, we're gonna do a whole new universe again. Who knows?
I hope not. I really liked where they were going with what they have, and that would be terrible.
But the good news for me is, and you can either take it or leave it, is this is better news for the video game side of things because Netflix didn't care.
I don't think it was so much Netflix they didn't care. Like they
didn't care.
I think they would have just let them do their own thing. I'm kind of worried about how much more this group, especially who's taking control of it, movies and games and things are going to be under a much tighter iron fist over what they're allowed to do, what kind of messages they're allowed to say, what restrictions and things like that. And we're going to get DC Comics, the games, the movies, and so forth, very restricted and very leaning in one particular direction with no real voice in other ways. Which is part of why some people are like, oh, we want to get rid of James Gunn because he actually makes, these stories that are actually fitting to the characters.
And that's why I just like my friend said, it was more of a rumor because nothing, to be honest, nothing's happened to TikTok. Their money is changing hands, but my algorithm hasn't changed. I can still support the creators I like to support. And I'm not getting fed anything differently. I said as soon as I get an even inkling that I get fed anything differently, I'm out. And so far, nothing has changed. So I mean,
there's been a lot of creators that like if certain subjects get broached, they're just blocked. Like certain things they decide to talk about, and as soon as that deal went through, changed. So it's like the illusion of their freedom is there, but it is starting to restrict more and more on certain stuff. And it's like, oh, if we don't want to talk about this particular topic, they just cut it out of the entire series. Like it's just gone.
I still get all of it. I still get all the people who are complaining, who are getting the news, the breaking news, the complaints, the ridicule of any of it. I'm still getting all that. So it's like I'm not getting fed anything else. And while some people are claiming like, are you still seeing me? I'm like, nothing's changed for me. I can still see you. You have not been hidden from me. You have not been unfollowed. So
I'm not actively on TikTok, so I don't know. It's something like for work.
I think this is a lot of tech stuff, which is beyond the board members and executives understanding. It's kind of like when Microsoft bought Rare, and they're like, "We own Donkey Kong." No, you don't. So I think it's the same thing where they're going to own all this stuff, but they're going to be like, "Is it making money? Let it make money. Is it not making money? Can we sell it?" That's how it's just going to be. Amazon's doing the same thing.
Right.
When they bought that all those game companies, they're like, is it a good game? Is it making money? Cool. Is it not making money? We're going to shut the game down and close the studio. And now Sony's doing the same thing. Is it making us money? Not making us money? Okay, we're going to close down the studio.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit here as well during the speed run with Bluepoint. But Chase, do you have any thoughts about this whole merger or potential buyout, what it could happen?
No, not really. Nothing like that you guys haven't already brought up. I don't know that this one necessarily affects me as much as it probably does like other people more. So I
don't know what he would get, but if this ever gave like Ed Boon the ability to get, I don't know, whatever Paramount owns on their side for guest characters, that's only a win for me.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Because he can't get Alien and Predator because that's Disney.
A lot of my concern comes down to the people that are behind this. They're not so neutral in a lot of this stuff. They've publicly made statements about certain things like, the last Superman movie, which I think is one of the better ones that's been done in a long time because it actually stuck to how the character is. They were also in that argument of like, oh, he needs to be dark and brooding and kill. And it's like, that's not the character. You want Homelander, which is a mockery of that for that reason. You expect Superman to be that, then you have no fucking clue how it is. But they want to kind of be able to have that ability to put that pressure on there. DC Comics does a large variety of different stories. They're not meant to fit with everybody, but they want to have more of that pushback where certain types of stories or certain characters shouldn't exist. They should not be there. And that's my worry, is not so much they kind of have that more want of censorship without calling it. They think they're doing the right thing, and kind of how that's going to be taken. Will that affect certain things? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see how it is. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're just kind of doom and gloom about it, but that is a reality of what these people have done and said with whenever they get the chance. They've already shut down different works with the stuff they've already taken, and they're fighting back against that. They're, some of them are trying to do restrictions on Star Trek and try and remove that, which has been going well for the moment. We're hopeful for future stuff, but we don't know where that's going to go, from that point. And I think that's more of my concern, is just seeing these things, instead of having the creative freedoms, everything gets homogenized and pulled in, and how much pull they're going to have over it. I would hope they would have the option, like you said, Stephen, oh, it's making us money, let them do their thing. We just want to sit here and take money in. And the statements they've put out is like, oh, this will be great for the shareholders. They've said nothing about the actual consumers or the people that are enjoying it. They're just worried about the bottom line, which I know that's what businesses do.
Yeah, but kind of like TikTok, shareholders won't be happy when TikTok did their whole thing because of the doom and gloom and all the worries, and then creators saying it's happening to some of them. They had a 1,400% increase in uninstalls. 1,400%. So a lot of people said no, just on the principle of who gets to collect the money, was just like, I'm out. And I'm just like, there's horrible people who work for Chick-fil-A. There's horrible people who work for Coke.
Right.
But I was just like, it's really hard. If you're going to try to boycott everything, you're just going to have bread and cereal. So it's just, kind of choose your battles. Choose something that you can actually have an impact in. And
I get that. It's just like,
I say to people when all this stuff happens, I was just like, let it go through its motions. Like, they'll learn the hard way, like what will lose them money. And if it happens, it happens. There's bigger things going on locally and in your state and stuff, that I was just like, just go with that. And see if this merger happens, where even without any of this influence, the gaming industry went through a week of shit.
Yeah.
So
I get that. Like I said, I grew up with DC Comics, the different varieties of stories and so forth, and I would like to see those continue one way or the other. Let people write and do what they want, and let people choose from those. I just want that to continue for a lot of it. I think that's my
I just don't want to see Batman's parents die again. I'm sick of it.
Well, it's like the absolute Batman stories. Like, I may not have been interested in those as much, but that's another one that they're kind of going after, because they've been very, and this is not a new thing. I don't know why they're all shocked. Like, oh, comic books have been political. No shit. They've always been. Like, what the fuck? Where you been? The writers and creators take their stances on things, as they always have, but they're wanting certain ones not to be able to do that. And it's like, at what point, where are they going to go with that? And that's what I'm worried about, but we'll see. All right, let's jump over to the speed run. I almost said the screw you, buddy. That'd have been funny. Let's just do it. Let's just do it anyways. All right. So after the news, Sony is closing Bluepoint Games here soon, that we talked about last week. It's come out that not only did they put in Bluepoint, that is, to do a full remake of Bloodborne, which a lot of people have been asking for, but Sony approved it just for From Software to deny it. So we almost got a Bloodborne remaster by Bluepoint, which I think a lot of people would have enjoyed, if nothing else for the better frame rate and just how it would have looked. So I don't know. Sony has also put out a new upgrade to their, I still say poorly named, PSSR or Pisser scaler, with Resident Evil Requiem being the first game to take advantage of it. I thought I was under the understanding that this was already out, but Steven, you corrected me and said this is not coming until later this month, I believe.
Yeah, there's already people complaining, why are you showing this off if it's not coming later? And then everybody else is sharing the awesome Office meme saying they're the same picture.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of a breakdown of it at Digital Foundry, and they made it sound like it was already available with Requiem, like it was the first game being shown, like it was already out. So
wait to them.
Yeah, maybe. After that, we had Seamus Blackley, one of the founding creators of Xbox, has come out stating he believes Microsoft is sunsetting Xbox as a brand, as yet another victim of their move to make everything they do about AI. So in his eyes, with what he's seen and people he's talked to, he doesn't think Xbox is going to be around within a couple of years. If even the new hardware is going to be coming out, it might just be sunsetted faster than that, just for Microsoft to pump that much more into their AI development. And I can't wait for that bubble to burst and them to be completely fucked by it. I think I've picked a side on that. This was a fun one that, Steven, you posted on the Discord that kind of threw me for a loop when I saw it. Rare has made the surprise announcements of and I love the name of this, the Hyper Mega Tech Super Pocket Rare Edition. It's a bit of hardware coming in June that will feature 14 classic Rare titles built into it, including a special version of Banjo-Kazooie that is optimized for play with the D-pad. All I could think about was Super Mario 64 DS. That's all I could think about. It's like, oh, we made it work with the D-pad. And I'm like, oh, that was iffy. Like, that really didn't work great. The device will sell for a range of about $49.99, $54.99, or £69.99 pounds, depending on the version. I didn't have any word yet if an American version was going to be available, but VGP is the only one that had it in US dollars, and they said it was $84.99. But no other store they had linked, Amazon, Best Buy, or the other ones, had this available in this version. It was only UK stores. This Rare release joins other branded versions from Capcom, Taito, Atari, Technos, Neo Geo, and Data East. But the cool thing is the hardware, if you do get it, is capable of playing all the other cartridges as normal. It's just kind of a really colorful version of it.
Evercade.
Yeah, for the Evercade stuff. It looks interesting, and I kind of keep debating if I want to get into that environment. You have some of this, don't you, Steven? The Evercade stuff?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
That was too collectible for me, so I was just like,
I'm so tempted. It's just...
The closest thing I had was when they had a when Limited Run did their vault, and they were kind of in the trying to get rid of certain stuff, so they had a coupon code. I got the Astrocade, which I was just like, and people were like, it's fully hackable, so if you wanted to add every Sega game to it, you could. And I was like, okay.
The Astrocade was fun. I kind of regret not getting the one with the vertical screen you could reorientate, but the first one was good. Whatever. All right, and lastly, reports have shown Sony to be moving away from PC releases of their titles, including the upcoming Wolverine specifically, to move back to a console-only strategy from them. This is to prevent the possible next Xbox from being able to play their titles if their reported move to PC hybrid consoles come to be. The other side of this story I saw just before this is they may still be releasing on PC, but they may be moving to having their own store and download software only. So no more release on Steam or other things. You have to have a Sony PlayStation program on your computer to play these games, which would also prevent stuff from like Xbox and other things from playing it. Either way, it's kind of a weird back and forth for that. But we'll have to see. I just thought it was kind of interesting. It's like Wolverine, those like X-Men games used to be on everything. Same thing with Spider-Man, and they've kind of locked them down to one thing. But all right, Steven, I think you had a little bit of Konami news you want to jump in on?
Yeah, because I forgot it wasn't on here, and I was just like, it was pretty big.
Is this breaking news?
No, it was the exciting news. It was when Konami and Limited Run Games and the Carbon Engine decided to team up, and they are releasing the Marvel Maximum Collection.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put that on there. I'm excited about this.
The shining stars in it, and I put that very succinctly. The shining stars are the X-Men Arcade, which has six-player online with rollback netcode, so it's going to play beautifully. Didn't say whether the Captain America and the Avengers was online, but I still love that game too, because only the arcade version is worth playing in my mind. I used to beat that game on one quarter. I loved it.
I have a couple of the other versions, but yeah, the arcade one's definitely better.
Love it or leave it, but in my humble opinion, the rest of it is hot trash, so I will go over what else is in there.
I had fun with these, but...
I know, but that fits our theme.
Right, that's our theme. That's our thing, man.
So there's supposed to be 13 games, so it sounds like, okay, so we got X-Men, we had the Captain America arcade, but then we have Captain America for Genesis, Captain America and Avengers for Super Nintendo, Maximum Carnage for Genesis, Maximum Carnage for Super Nintendo, Separation Anxiety for Genesis, Separation Anxiety for Super Nintendo, Arcade's Revenge for Genesis, Arcade's Revenge for Super Nintendo,
Those were rough.
Arcade's Revenge for Game Boy,
Oh God.
Arcade's Revenge for Game Gear, and Silver Surfer for NES. So we're basically getting all the LGN games, God help us, except for we're not getting X-Men for NES, which was probably the worst X-Men game in the history of X-Men.
So we're not getting the Captain America: The Avengers for NES?
I know they showed that.
That was an interesting version. It sound. I mean,
they showed that. So
okay.
I don't know if this list is finite or not, because they said 13 games. So I don't know if some of this list is tentative,
Right.
but they showed literally the Captain America and the Avengers for
NES,
okay. Which was okay. It's just hard.
I think. Okay, we agree. Some of these games are rough. I get it. I have fond memories of some of them because I didn't know any better. But I would rather, and I'm glad that they're at least trying to complete the set. Like, let people experience all of them, good or bad. And I think Silver Surfer was a very difficult game, but if you can actually just kind of roll back and continue, people might actually enjoy it a little bit more. It was a beautiful
they said it's
game.
got all that. It's got the save states. It's got all the rewind.
Right. Cheat your way through these, people. Don't be afraid. Just fucking use it.
You can get finally through these games when you get like a cheap hit and fall down a pit and stuff.
Right. Play them like you got
okay
the damn time stone. Okay. Like, oops. All right, let's go back.
But
that'd be great. You rewind and see a little gauntlet come up and snap with the time stone.
But Chase, we need to put our hands together and pray for Jeremy and his wallet, because they haven't announced what their extravagant collector's edition will be like.
I'm gonna fucking do it. I don't care.
So
I'm gonna do it.
Whatever it comes with, he's gonna be like, I'm there. So.
This is one of the the holy ones. This is one of the ones where I don't give a shit. I'm getting it. Okay. I don't care if this bitch is $300. It's
you could
gonna
get
happen.
Hulk's balls, and he's just like, give me. So
there's one thing I really want this to have. Like, I'm glad X-Men, the 6-player is there and it has rollback and everything. I want it to have, because these are on 4K TVs now, I want it to show the actual dual screen layout. Like, make it look like it's the two screens and it's true widescreen. Like, it's the perfect time to do that now, because every screen is 16:9
thing, but fingers crossed, because Digital Eclipse would be like, we made it so it works on 2 monitors at once or something like that. But
yeah, Digital Eclipse would do amazing things, but it just feels like it could be a visual mode. Even if they don't have the curve and everything for the monitors, just give us that ultra wide as an option, because it's already in the programming. And if they're already getting the 6th version in there, that's included on most of those. Because you could either have I think it was a 4-player single screen or the 6-player double screen. So I'm really hoping for that.
I'm hoping this collection is like $30, because then I can justify 15 for X-Men, 15 for Avengers, and everything is just there.
You're hoping for 30. I'm hoping for under 300.
I'll pay whatever for the physical, because as we learned now through Jurassic Park and Bill and Ted's Excellent Collection, they also have limited time on on the licenses.
Yeah.
So the license for Bill and Ted ran out, so they delisted those. And then Jurassic Park Collection, those titles are delisting at the end of March. So get the physical copies while you still can, because they did not get a permanent license. They got a temporary license. So it's a lot of those, it's like, get them now and preserve them the best way you can.
Yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of these are. So I'm glad they're at least doing it. And this goes into that whole argument. Everyone's like, why are you so worried about getting the physical copies? This is why. They can't delist the physical copy, but the digital is not forever. So, yeah, good catch on that. I forgot to add that. I only got to see part of it because I was traveling when you posted it. I thought it was something else. I thought you just like posted a joke about X-Men or something. And I was like, oh shit, that's a game. I was so happy. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to go back and see some of these, because I remember when I got to rent Maximum Carnage and, play some of these, but I only played the Super Nintendo versions or the NES ones. I never got to mess with the Genesis ones that often. So
I'm just happy for the music player, because X-Men Arcade has has amazing music from Konami.
Yeah, because that one was based on the unreleased first cartoon. What was it? Pride of the X-Men. which was before the X-Men 96 series. This was kind of like the proto version they tried to do. They did an animation. It didn't get picked up. They made the arcade game off of it, and then we had the new one. So who knows? All right, let's jump over to the big question, because I know we've been talking for a while for today. All right, so speaking of Bluepoint earlier, we wanted to ask, if you could hire the team from Bluepoint Games to remake or remaster an IP or game from the PlayStation library specifically, what would it be and why? So, Steven, since this was your question, I'm going to let you start us off.
So I'm going to try to go towards their, what do you call it? Their strengths. And that's doing kind of like making characters look even sharper and better than they have before. And kind of just either cleaning up or buffing up the game itself. So I went for each generation, and for PS1, because I'd really like one, is the first Clock Tower, not the Super Nintendo version, but the PlayStation 1 version of Clock Tower to be remastered or remade. Remaster would work too much. It's very crude looking, so I would want a complete remake on this one to get it more in line with Clock Tower 3. But I feel that they could do it justice, no problem, with the demons and the big scissor man you fight. So I'm all for that. The contentious one for PS2, because it's like $1,000 game now because of the content, is Rule of Rose. Again, it's all that creepy, scary horror stuff. But again, since they did Demon Souls and such, I feel it's right up their alley to do such a game like this. And going with that thing and going to the absurd is I want a modern console version to play Yakuza Dead Souls, because it's just, even though it's not canonical, it's just one of those just like, hey, all the characters you love are now just have tons of guns.
Yeah, it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. It's like, yeah, it makes no sense. It's just
like, it's very arcadey and
terrible.
crazy,
Good,
but
funny.
I was just like, it's another game that's stuck on PS3.
Gotcha. All right, Chase, what about you?
So for PS1, I chose Siphon Filter. I feel like that's a game that could really use with just kind of a fresh coat of paint, new control scheme, like better control.
Yeah, but I say it
for the
needs modern
console.
controls.
And but like I think Bluepoint could really do their magic with that. With PS2, I chose Killzone. Love it or leave it. I actually enjoyed Killzone. I know it was a bit jank. I know there was some issues with it, but actually, for the time, it was a decent looking shooter that I thought had a really good premise. And then it just got even better with Killzone 2, which was...
I think go ahead.
Well, I think Killzone 2 can, to a point, still holds up today with how it looks.
I think after 2, Sony kind of lost their way with the series.
Well, kind of after 3, because then they had they had Shadowfell. But 2 and 3 were really good.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was the game was horrible.
Which one?
Absolutely horrible. Shadowfell.
Oh,
Shadowfell. It was kind of like if Killzone made Firebreak.
Yeah, it was
wow,
atrocious.
That's a terrible statement. As much as you guys hate Firebreak,
the game was so bad.
You guys literally warned me off of that. Like, do not buy this, Jeremy. Don't you do it.
And then for PS3, Swan was put me onto it partially. Said MotorStorm, but then Swan's also partially right. MotorStorm actually like is another game that kind of holds up today. Like, you wouldn't really need to. It just needs to be on a modern re-release.
It'd be like a refinement more than anything.
Yeah, but I picked Resistance Fallen Man because
it's a good one.
It was a great shooter. It was a really good game, and it needs, like, the Resistance franchise needs some fucking love, man. Like, Insomniac dropped that thing like a sack of potatoes, and they've just never even touched it.
Yeah, like if Killzone was Sony's Halo, I always felt Resistance Fall of Man was Sony's Gears of War.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Because it came across that way with humans versus all the bug people, and I was just like, it was done really well with the guys like Psyche and stuff like that going wild and got even better in 2.
2 is
and
really
then
good.
And then it
Yeah.
just started to disappear.
Yeah, that would definitely be a good one. So for mine, I went with the mindset of what games were good but flawed that could definitely benefit from an upgrade that they could do. So for PlayStation 1, I chose Blaster Master Blasting Again, which is a really fun Blaster Master on PlayStation 1, but it is so janky with the controls. Takes a while to get used to, and it's kind of repetitive for part of it, but it is fun. So I would love to see that redone with modern graphics, new control schemes for different options, and being able to just kind of explore, because it was a great take on the Blaster Master series. And I know we've gotten more modern takes on those, but they were sticking more to the NES style than they were anything afterwards. For PlayStation 2, I had 2 choices. The first one I just absolutely loved, and I just kind of want to see a new updated version of it, and that's Transformers. Specifically the one that's just Transformers. It's based off of Transformers Armada from the cartoon series and comics. It was one of the best Transformers games for a long time. Like, they did such a good job with the mechanics. You only got to play as 3 different characters, but you had a lot of different environments and variables and things you could do. Some really fun boss fights I would love to see brought to modern takes. But the other title is one called Shadow of Rome, which was like a Roman Colosseum fighter, like with the gladiators and stuff, and like you would go kind of back in the past to, showing how his backstory was and everything. But it had an interesting take for how it did a lot of the fighting mechanics and the storytelling, and I think that would benefit from getting that upgrade to a modern take. We've had some games kind of like it since then, so some people might look a little bit differently, but I think this one still holds up.
Who
on its
made
own
Shadow of Rome?
Capcom.
Yeah, it was a Capcom title.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And
so they could use that RE engine.
Yeah.
And if you want to be eerie about it,
Mhm.
Shadow of Rome had a stealth segment and an action segment, kind of like a certain game that's out right now.
Oh, that's funny. And then lastly, for PlayStation 3, the one I chose was Folklore, which is a game that I was intrigued by and I had fun playing it, but it really needs kind of an update for a lot of stuff. Like, give it full voice acting, give it bump up the graphics a bit, give me a little bit more action in the story. It had a lot of potential, and I know it has a lot of fans. So a lot of people, I remember Rachel was another champion of this title, that would love to see this type of game come back, to bring it back with that whole story and the world and everything. Because it was a fairly early PS3 game, so it has that like late gen PS2, early PS3 look to it. So it could really get a glow up from Bluepoint. All right, well, I think that about wraps up this week. Man, so we've been right around 2 hours, so that's not too bad for the show. Like I said, this has been episode 210 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. If you are listening to the audio version of this, check us out over at youtube.com/ZenspathCom. Leave us a thumbs up, subscribe so you can get the episodes as they come out, or any other videos we put out. Leave us a comment. What games for the PlayStation family specifically would you want to see Bluepoint get to do if they were able to live on? I know we've already seen, a little bit of them being able, trying to do Bloodborne and things like that. But what do you want? If you're watching the video version and you want to get the audio version, go to whatever podcast app you have of choice. You can find us pretty much there just by searching for Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. Leave us a review. That helps us out a lot with the algorithms for getting people to listen to us. Share it with people. Let us know if you leave a review. I can't always see them unless I go look for them. So if you leave us a good one, let us know. I would love to be able to try. Like, I can't give too much. I only make so much money and I pay for all this, but maybe I can start giving out some gift cards and stuff like that just to be like, oh, thanks, whatever. Sounds like a bribe. It's not, I swear. I'm too broke to do bribes. That's just how it goes. But yeah, help us out with that. If you want to talk to us directly, I recommend going over to our Discord. That's the easiest way to find us. And to find any of the episodes, any of the articles I've written, our Discord and all that, check us out over at zenspath.com, the actual website as well. All right. I've been your host, Jeremy Powers, joined once again by Steven and Chase. And we're out. Peace.
Gotta merge them all.
This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast by the staff at Zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.